Hello, how are you? I realized I watched back some of these and realized that every single time I say hello the same way. So that's pretty funny, very consistent of me. My thing's not letting me go to my website. I just wanted to look at something. So I'm here today to talk about testimonials and recommendations. But first, as I always like to do, acknowledgement of country. So I'm based here on the Gold Coast, Australia, and this is the Yagambeh people's land. They are the traditional land owners. I recognise their connection to land, waters and culture, and I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'm going to talk today about testimonials. Do you have them? Do you share them? That's more important. So some people have testimonials or recommendations about how they work, but they don't necessarily always share them. And that's a disservice to yourself and to your audience. So first, what is a testimonial? A testimonial is somebody's words about you and or your service or how you have shown up. So you could have a testimonial for work that you've done. You could have a testimonial for speaking that you've done. You can have a recommendation for a role that you're going for. It could be anything. But the important thing is to ask for them and to get them. And so often we don't ask for, it's not even feedback. It's better than feedback. It's a testament to who we are and how we work. And often with testimonials, people focus on the how you work as opposed to the person that you are. And so when I speak with my clients, they're often saying, I have only just started doing this thing, or I haven't been doing it long, or I've just started speaking, so I can't get a testimonial for my speaking. And it's like, well, surely there's people who know you, who know how you show up, who know how you presented maybe a presentation once. Yes, well, that's speaking. So get somebody who saw your presentation to write a testimonial about you speaking. If it's about if you were doing some writing, has somebody read your writing before? Yes, you can write. It's not necessarily about that. It's also about how you were as a person and to work with. So even though you're doing something new, there are people who've worked with you or interacted with you over the years who surely can give you a character testimonial. And so when you're asking for one of these, you're looking to ask for how you are to interact with, what you're like as a person, how they felt when they were working with you, how they felt when they interacted with you. And so then you get all these awesome words around who you are, and probably words that maybe you wouldn't find for yourself. And if you do have testimonials, I always say to my clients, one of the first things to do is go back and have a look at them. Go and have a read. If you've got them on LinkedIn, or maybe on your website, on your Facebook page where people can do reviews, Google business, you can leave reviews for Google My Business. There's all these different places where people can talk about you. It was a real trend for a while on LinkedIn, and so I have a lot from around straight after uni, which is LinkedIn earlier days, and we were all giving each other testimonials, but they speak to how we were to cooperate in a group, or how we were to interact with, or people would say, Emma was really friendly when I met her and welcomed me, and well, that's a great thing to know about me. So you can go and look at someone's testimonials and get to know them through that. So if you're not having them published or shared, then people are missing out on an opportunity to hear from you, or to know about you, sorry. So the other thing with them is that if they are just sitting on your website, or they are on LinkedIn, or maybe if they're in your email, somebody's written something like, it's so great to work with you, thank you so much, you're just always so encouraging, and you're always championing me, and I really appreciated that, thanks for all your help. That's a great testimonial. Well, then you write to that person and you say, hey, thanks for those lovely words, would you mind if I turn that into a testimonial and shared that with my audience? most of the times they're going to say yes, unless it was, super personal, but it doesn't sound, that one sounds quite general. Then you share those, and whether you do it with, you might have seen, if you follow me here or connect with me here on Instagram, you might have seen that I do a tile and it says testimonial and it says the words from my client, and I do a photo and who they are and I share that. You could also just share their image without don't have to make a tile. An image really helps, or a logo, and you can do the text from the testimonial into the caption on Instagram. You could take a screenshot. I see this, I love this way of doing it. Like people who've sent messages, really nice messages. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for your help. I'm loving your program. Take a screenshot. And you can, for privacy's sake, if they're not comfortable or you don't want to give away their full name, you can, hi Lisa, you can block out their name, and then you can share that actual post. And the thing is, we never tire of getting these testimonials and recommendations. We shouldn't just go, okay, I did that once. Yep, I went and got a bunch of testimonials and I put them up, and then that's that. Every time you work with someone, they should be going on you should be collecting those. And while you're working with the person, so while they're in your course, while they're in your audience, while they're on your tour, wherever you are, while you're working with them, if they're your colleague, you should be collecting those testimonials and storing them up. You don't have to share them all at once, or just to say, throw them up on your website. There's so many ways that you can utilize those. And it's something that I thought of earlier. I was like, with a podcast day, with my podcast, I don't just ask for people to rate it once. I don't say just listen and then I hope you review it on one episode. Every single episode I ask people to rate, review and subscribe. Rate, review and subscribe. So that could be another way to get some feedback about how you work or who you are, to get a ratings, but the review is like the words where they actually say, I loved this because of, or this podcast helped me because of. And then what that does is, when other people are looking for a podcast to watch or listen to, that's how you consume podcasts, they could go and they could find that and they would see and they go, oh, I want help with that too. I'm going to listen to this podcast as well. Or, oh wow, 5 people left testimonials. This must be a good podcast. I'm going to go and have a listen. And even huge podcasts, ones that have millions of subscribers, I'm not just there yet, but they still always ask to rate and review, because that's what's helped them to rise up and get more listeners, because people keep referring, keep recommending, keep publicly saying, yes, I like this podcast, so that more people can find it. And that's what your testimonials can do. You're saying, hi, this is what somebody said about me, third-party endorsement, how lovely. And they go, hey, I want to have that experience too. Or, hey, I was thinking about working with that person. Maybe I'll work with them as well. So if you're not already doing it, collect them, start collecting them. And I give you a challenge today. I've just given this challenge to my gorgeous course members. If you're not already doing this, go out and ask for 5 testimonials today. Those testimonials could be character testimonials, so from people who know you well, probably not mum and dad, probably somebody who knows you through, has connected with you. They could be through a network. They could be through, they could be a client of yours. You could have been a client of theirs. It could be a way that you say, how do we work together? How do I show up? How do I present? That would be great. So get that testimonial from them. It could be a client who's currently working with you, or it might be a client who's finished working with you, but you really enjoyed working with. Maybe you did a speaking presentation and you want to get that documented. There's so many people. Just think outside the box. It doesn't have to literally just be, I'm doing this service, I've provided this. They should. I'll ask them. Ask all different people. I always tell my clients, ask me. I know you well. I'm happy to endorse your character and share a testimonial about the person that you are. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about who to ask for testimonials and recommendations from. Obviously, you would like to have them from people in your audience so that people can see a testimonial from somebody who's like them, so then they go, well, if they're working with people like them, I want to be like them and work with them. So if you'd like to check out my Instagram feed, you can see where some of the testimonials that I've shared. There's a couple on my website as well, and then on my LinkedIn. If you have experienced something good from this channel, from watching the Instagram lives or listening to the podcast, please, I'm asking now too, please leave me a testimonial. You can rate, review and subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe on Spotify to the podcast, so Live and Love Your Brand. There are a bunch of ways. You can go to my Facebook page and you could leave me a review there. You could go to Google Business, Lovelly Communications, and leave me a review there and tell me what value you're getting from connecting with me. I would love that. If you go out and get testimonials, I'd love to hear from you and hear how you went with it. Please share. So I hope this has been a helpful reminder. I'll be back next week with another lovely guest, and we'll keep these conversations going. Thank you and have a wonderful day.